Alrighty, guess it's time to get started. What if the mic's working properly? Okay, cool. Anyways, so one thing that I realized was that I didn't actually have properly finalized colors. See, I was using, when I was working on this earlier, um, placeholder colors that were just leftovers of the I guess you could call it board prototype that someone else had created, namely this one, which, not a very high resolution image, I know, but yellow, green, orange, blue, and brown. I'm not sure brown's the right word for that, but whatever. Anyways, so I looked at this and was like, I could use those colors. Sure, why not? This obviously is not exactly the same as what I ended up actually using for my board. I redrew everything. So it looks different. Very, very different. And also, I realized that the actual colors that I was going to use for these needed to be influenced by the actual like physical cardstock that I was going to be using as a method to make the actual cards because, I'm going to make a physical copy of this game. And then when I, looked around to see what options I had available for cardstock, I realized that blue and brown wasn't on the list. So yeah, I rethought that. It's like, and here we are. Card decks. I redesigned it to have like obviously having red replace the brown cards really easy. In fact, if you look here, one of the other Monopoly variants actually had red cards, except that the function they had for red cards is what I'm using for yellow cards. And honestly, I'm seriously considering rethinking that too. I haven't like finalized the colors there, and I need to finalize the colors before I actually make a board because, the board reflects what you're actually using for the cards. Oh, and I should actually choose a color for the weird spoke thingies. Okay. Nope, still showing the PowerPoint. There. Okay. Anyways, okay, on here, this one doesn't show it. But we go to here. Rent voucher cards. Like the one thing that I was able to data mine from Eco Monopoly was the idea of having, reduced rent cost vouchers as a thing you can pick up for landing on certain spaces on the board. Is it necessarily good? Yeah, I don't know. Also, due to the fact that this is conceptually kind of sort of in the same ballpark as a get out of jail free card, I decided that for my version of Eco Monopoly, Eco Monopoly's rent voucher cards, that I would allow you to sell them to other players. Needless to say, if you owe $5,000 in rent, you're not going to buy a rent voucher card for any more than 2,400 because it's only covers half the price. So, you know, the if the actual rent is 5,000, the most benefit you can get from the voucher card is 2,500. And if the voucher card costs more than the actual rent, it's useless. So getting the voucher card for considerably less is the only way you're going to actually make money off of it. So, the idea of being able to sell the voucher cards has value. I don't anticipate it being a broken thing though, because again, is that you people aren't going to give away the voucher cards for free. Hmm. This is one of those things where it's like I'm throwing a whole bunch of stuff together that I have not actually tested. So, you know, anyway, that means that the colors that I assigned on this are wrong and need fixed. Bit unfortunate, but such is life. Okay, so all of the brown ones on the outer edge need to be bright red because that's the color I'm going to actually be using. The blue ones get to be a deep pink color. Anyways, that's a minor change. Now to get on with the actual stuff of filling everything in. Oh, so this is just my layout proof of concept piece. It's not the actual one I'm making for the board thing. Just but since I decided to change the colors, I decided that I should update this to reflect the changes. Anyway, though, save this. Now to switch to the actual board that I was working on. Notice how this one does not have those on it. In fact, it doesn't have a whole lot of things on it, actually. That's an interesting thing. I just realized that I forgot to figure out. See, the whole travel card deck. That name is something that I have reasonably well defined. Okay. I'm going to repurpose the stuff so that it doesn't work exactly the same way as it does in the previous version because I'm kind of sort of merging ideas together and reshuffling certain things. But the travel card deck idea is fundamentally solid, even if it's not going to be exactly the same as it used to be. Whatever. Anyways, moving on from that. Um, the thing here though is that yeah, excuse me. I need to figure out. See, because I'm going to have three different decks that are essentially chance, community chest, and a third variant of the same thing. Because the differences between them are actually just going to be cards that are specific to being in that ring, like telling you to move out of the ring, move to a different ring, move to a certain specific space that is relevant to the ring that you are currently in when you draw the card. Because that was actually one of the biggest gripes I had with Ultimate Monopoly is that it has a single chance and single community chess deck, which would sometimes tell you to advance to a space in a different ring, which doesn't work right. Anyway, though, so what ideas do I have for card decks? Well, let's see. What did Monopoly do? Okay, it's telling me that version of the file is corrupt. Lovely. See, one of the things about Megaopoly that I liked was that they actually just like renamed things just to rename things. Didn't actually have a good reason for it because they wanted it to be um legally distinct from Monopoly just to make it legally distinct from Monopoly. Because he was trying to actually sell it, not just doing it as a fan project that he gave away for free on the internet. He was, you know, legitimately trying to do actual board game design work. And honestly, I like his work. I don't think that it was, flawless, but it was a good effort. Anyway, though, pot of gold. Hmm. You know what? Pot of gold is actually a nice idea for a card name. Anyway, so okay, going to the Excel spreadsheet here. Cards. Yeah, in here I have. Oh yeah, I actually have the travel voucher thing marked in red here. Hmm. I might reassign that color. You know what? Yeah, it's like this was a page I was doing really really deep dive into what all of the different cards were. I did not finish compiling it. I spent hours staring at things. But anyways, so travel voucher chance. I decided to reassign. I decided to assign the orange color to the stock market cards, and yeah, I haven't actually figured out what I want the stock market cards to be yet. And quite frankly, I'm actually seriously considering making the green deck located in the same spots as where the orange deck currently is, and just like putting the stock market cards into the like not be their own deck. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I think I will do that because I decided I wanted to do the whole like rent voucher thing, which you only get for landing on certain spaces. Um, but because like the stock market cards used in Super Monopoly and Ultimate Monopoly are actually part of the Chance and Community chest decks, which it's not a bad idea, honestly. And also the fact that I have more than one stock exchange space on the board. The reason I have more than one stock exchange space on the board is that, quite frankly, the entire stock exchange mechanic in Ultimate Monopoly is something that doesn't get used anywhere near enough to be worth the complexity. It's an interesting idea. Much better than the roll three thing, where even if you do actually use the roll three thing, the amount of money you get from the roll three thing is so trivial that you might as well not even bother with it. And getting roll three cards is just like no, no point. So having two squeeze play spaces on the board just felt more useful. Anyway, though, So I need to put in the names of the ones that I'm going to have here. Red being travel vouchers, cool, whatever. Chance. You know what? I can keep that. Community chest. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to have. Yeah. A chance will be ring two. Wait, no. Sorry. Ring three. Yeah. Travel vouchers. These are going to be the red ones in this version, I guess. So, uh, rings two, three, and four. Because the board prototype that I currently have thrown together has oh right, it doesn't show it on this screen. You switch from board J to board something else. M. There you go. Yeah. The way this is currently marked, it has yellow spaces in a lot of places. Those are the ones that I'm going to have for the travel voucher cards. And you know what? Making the travel vouchers the red cards works. The reason I hadn't assigned them the color red previously was because of the fact that I hadn't actually decided, like, made a final decision on what the card colors would be for the actual physical cards. So, yeah. Anyways, so, community chest being yellow, sort of. Cool. Not the text, the background. Click the wrong button. I'm going to set this as ring two. What is going to be in it? Good question. A lot of these cards are basically just silly things like pay a tiny amount of money to the cash pool. Collect a small amount of money from the cash pool. There are certain things that I'm going to have to drastically redefine though, because like general repairs, the idea that we have for general repairs is going to be drastically changed because I don't actually use houses and hotels in this. I just have like a general property improvement level where you start out at what's the equivalent of one house, which, you know, in basic Monopoly, that was like the lowest one where you get actual rent and not the token rent values you get when it's unimproved. Yeah. So I figure something that'll be like the basic general repairs thing where it's like take the number of total property improvement levels for everything and just add them up as if they're houses. So if you have four properties with one each, you will get, a total of 100. Now, having the general repairs thing, or I'm going to probably rename them, but the equivalence of general repairs on the different rings be different amounts is part of the whole reason why I wanted to have like completely different decks for different rings. Is so that like you're in ring four where the extremely expensive properties are. There, when you get a random card that says pay money because X reason, it's a bigger value. Also, this actually has a drastically increased value for the get out of jail free card because the actual basic mechanic of going to jail in this is actually far worse than in basic Monopoly because of the fact that in basic Monopoly, while yes, you are on the wrong side of the board, um, you don't have to navigate multiple levels of rings to get to where you want to go. And also, it's like I have the whole idea of cards that let you decide in a limited, non repeatable manner. You have some ability to decide where you want to go. Okay, so anyway, pink. Pink is going to be the uh you know what? If pink, yeah. Hang on. This will be green. I'm going to put pink over here. This. Yeah. Okay. So with conservation cards, hmm. You know what? I might actually have some of them give you a uh let you just like draw a stock at of them. Put it aside like you have an investment opportunity due to your whatever. Uh the ecology theme on yeah, I don't want to call them conservation cards. Right. Theme. Okay, the red cars are travel voucher cars because of their theme. If we have this as being financial investments, we can mix the whole like stock exchange thing with the tra- uh um rent voucher thing. I just need to workshop a hmm I'm just going to put in investments as a placeholder name for now. Figure something out later. Because like maybe something where it works with hmm investment brokers. Yeah, investment brokers. Call it that. So still need to decide what I want to have as the one for fourth one. Pot of gold from Megaopoly. Decent idea. What else we got? Monopoly Space was a delightfully batshit take on Monopoly, where the concept of winning is drastically different. It's limited to 4 players because that's just how that edition works. And also to make it even more off the edge into deep space weird, it has a completely different way of winning the game than you have for regular Monopoly. It's like because like in Monopoly Space, the actual goal is to gather materials to build a moon base. Like owning territory, I mean, it's somewhat useful, but the actual overall goal is not that. Anyway, it doesn't actually have an interesting idea for cards you draw though. Now, as much fun as I have with Singanopoly and Hanoiopoly and Saigonopoly, their ideas for the draw decks are very hmm. Actually, you know what? Saigonopoly or Singanopoly, sorry, not Saigonopoly, Singanopoly has a one of its draw decks is called Prosper. Thinking about that one. Well, it also has a Lucky Draw deck, which is Lucky Draw is basically just like chance renamed almost. Hmm. What did Texopoly use? Texopoly is an interesting one because the fact that it goes beyond a standard retheme. Oh, you know what? I think Texopoly actually used a Lucky Draw deck too. Yeah, pretty sure it did. No, no, no. It was called Texas Draw, not Lucky Draw. Texas Draw. Okay. Still though. Hmm. Monopoly Mega Edition. It just added a few more spaces to the board. That's really all it did. Not much, really. Well, okay, there are a few small things. It's the one that included introduced the concept of bus tickets. Bus tickets is something that I have decided to fuse with the travel voucher idea because, quite frankly, the bus ticket system was limited and not actually something I consider to be personally that good. Anyway, I need to take a break away from keyboard for a minute, so I'll be back quickly. And I forgot to mute the microphone while I was doing stuff. Great, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, Ultimate Monopoly. I don't actually like bus tickets. Then again, bus tickets are something that was derived from Monopoly Mega Edition, I think. So, oh wait, I was looking at the wrong file. Probably the thing I was looking at. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see here. London version. Hmm. It is neat that they actually made a mega edition of the London Monopoly version. And I have to say, Mega Edition did actually have certain interesting ideas. Bus tickets was not one of the better ones. Now, okay, the idea of having cards you can play to choose stuff wasn't a terrible idea. It's just ugh, if each card can only be used once per game, that drastically limits their value. Anyway, Londonopoly didn't actually have a renamed or rethemed version of the draw spaces. Let's see. What did Islandopoly have? Oh, Islandopoly had fate cards. Yeah, Islandopoly had fate and fortune as the cards. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting idea. Let me get back to that one. Hmm. What was the one on Psychonopoly? Oh, Lucky Draw. Okay. Yeah, one of them in Psychonopoly is called Lucky Draw. The other one is called uh see in the eat so my skill at pronouncing Vietnamese is not good. Lucky Draw, on the other hand, it's not a bad idea. Mm. Oh yeah, and Hanoiopoly actually has the same names, although the art is used differently. Okay, huh? Lucky Draw is actually a I could work with that one. Yeah, you know what? I'll fill in Lucky Draw for now, and if I think of something better, I'll change it later. Hmm. Yeah, that is a few seconds behind. Hmm. Alrighty then. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that reminds me. One of the ideas that I had decided wanted to try to figure out how to incorporate into gigaopoly, but never actually made any progress into figuring out how actually was supposed to work. The idea of that not all of the players are exactly the same, and that each player has their own special ability. The problem, of course, here is that um, it's one of those things that I found like at random, but I don't actually have like a full understanding of how the rules for it are supposed to work. And also, I don't actually. Part of the problem is that I looked up copies of the rules, and the copies that I found are not actually in English. So, yeah. It is actually something that apparently does exist in certain Monopoly variants. It's just that um, I don't have all of the rules, and I need to actually try to figure out how to incorporate it. And also, it's something that I could bolt on as an addition later, and I just don't need to mess with it right now. Anyway, though, what I was doing here was trying to decide what to have for the third one of those. Going at lucky draw, sure, why not? Investment brokers. Yeah, both the things I want to use this for are related towards opportunities to acquire money. I'm going to throw in some bad cards, but you know, because like anyway, lucky draw and community chest for this are going to be like chance only with either lower values or higher values. And of course, different um if it refers to a specific territory a property, it will give you one that is related to the ring that you're in, or, telling you to move out of the ring that you're in because reasons. Very, very I want them to be specifics. Anyway, moving on. So, now that I have decided what I want the colors to be, I'm going to go to the wait, not that one. That button. I'm going to go to board 1IJ and file curve. Hmm, I'm going to save this as K. Why? Because overwriting things too often is a bad thing. If you want to, downgrade a version, you need to have a copy of the previous version. Anyway, though, so let's get on with it. Let's see here. Layout. Okay, so the thing that was purposely doing the yellow card, travel voucher. First travel voucher space is in ring 2, and it's the fourth one after go. So that should be red. Uh, okay. Like what used to be blue cards, I'm decided to make Orange. Crap, that's right. When reassigning the names, I changed which rings they go in. Like I was originally going to take the brown cards in the outer ring that are and assign those to red, but yeah, I just completely reassigned every one of the colors. Oh well, c'est la vie. Blue card. So what I had in the previous version as blue cards are now yellow. Community chest. Okay, so where are all of the community chest space is going to be then? Hmm. Actually, I think I will use this color for them. Uh. Okay, so the schematic I have here. Let's see here. The first community chest is the last space on side one. The second one after the railroad on side two. Uh, First one on side three, and third from last on side four. Okay. Hmm. Okay, well, that looks right-ish, I guess. All right, so back to the travel vouchers. All right, well, those look good then. All right, well, I need to actually like throw them down on the board. Okay, so next travel voucher is second from last on side two of ring two. Uh, hmm. Third one is oh, fourth from last on one, two, three, four. And yeah, like the first one here. Oh, right. When I was doing this previously, the travel voucher ones were the ones that put in this weird, like, pale tan color. Oh, yeah, that's right. Like the weird pale tan color is like the light yellow one they have here, except it doesn't really look yellow to me. Maybe it's just my monitor. I don't know. Anyways, moving on to this. Now we do ring three. What do we have in ring three? Okay, what I was previously referring to as green cards in ring three are going to be um, orange. And I'm going to call them chance. Why? Because it's actually being named after the traditional thing from regular Monopoly. All right, so the first one is literally the first space on the first side. Yeah, the light orange one here, that's the warp zones, and that's a completely different mechanic. All right, so third one on the second side. Da, 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 da. Third one on the third side. Slightly repetitive, but whatever. Random is random, eh? Third from last on here. Whatever. I know those two came out very close to each other, but like I said, random is random. Didn't want it to be too orderly. Okay, so this one has travel vouchers too. Okay, so the first travel voucher on ring three is fourth from last space on side one. Then last space on side two. Which yeah, looks similar very close together, except that you can't get there from here. Anyways. Second from last on side three. Uh second here. Which yeah, that is a bit of a bottleneck, but I think in a good way. Again, I don't want it to be too um symmetrical. Okay, so that's the card spots for there. Okay, the things that I currently have labeled orange cards, I'm just going to change them on my sheet to have the light green background because that's what I'm actually going to fill in for them. Okay then. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I hadn't thought of that until recently. This just makes more sense as a color for the background areas that are, out of play zones. Like the reason why I decided to go with this is that some versions of Monopoly have that sort of a color. It's just that I don't know why I went with light green. This is a dark shade that I wouldn't want to use as background for text anyways. and having it be really dark gives me a way to avoid it being too similar to anything that's light green that I actually use as a property or some other space on the board. Anyways, on to ring 4, sort of. Actually, I need to do the sub ring on ring 2B. Yeah. These are where the light green ones are going to come in. Okay, so section 1 of sub ring 2. Mm, fourth one. And yeah, I decided to go with like numbering the sub rings is like the when you advance forward, the first one you can move into is this one. So this is sub section 1. Uh the last one here, second and then last again. Okay. Yeah, I decided that for this, like having special spaces of different kinds adjacent was fine because, quite frankly, the adjacency rules would get insane if I decided I didn't want to allow that. Okay. Anyway, all right. Since I'm placing this specific kind of thing, um, um, ring 4B, section 1, which section 1 is it's the same principle. It's like advance. This is the first one you can move to. Third spot here. Then let's see here. It's second from last over here. Second one here, and third one here. All right, now I need to switch to the special diagram. Draw a rent voucher. Okay. Um, yeah, put one here. One here. Third one here. And then first one. So here. All right. That's where all of the rent voucher things go. Some of them are actually a little bit close together. Yeah, when I was originally laying these out, those weren't actually the same space, so whatever. One of those things where I just have to accept the fact that it's impossible to get everything to be equally distant if I'm not going to make it have perfect symmetry. Having things be erratically organized leads to inequalities. The simple fact of making things different makes them unequal. Alrighty then. Well, now we can move on to the main part of Ring 4. The main part of Ring 4 has travel vouchers. Yeah. Ring 4, when you look at all of them put together, that is a lot of special spaces. But that's a ridiculous number of spaces in general. So, it's kind of to be expected. Okay, let's see. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Okay, that's all of them. Uh Now I need the ones that I marked as brown. What was I call those again? Lucky draw. And I'm going to put lucky draw with a background of magenta. All right. Well, that is updated in the Excel spreadsheet. Hmm. Man, I knew this was going to be a lot of work when I started on it, but oh boy, did I underestimate how much work it would actually be. Anyways, so ring 4, travel vouchers will be first, which are the red spaces. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. And then 2 points after that is a lucky draw. Oh, I guess I'll use that. It's not magenta, but I don't actually have a proper magenta in this color palette. I guess I could custom add a magenta. Hmm. Actually, to be honest, the actual card stock I'm going to be using is kind of a light pink, purple. And you know what? This pink color might actually be closer than the magenta I'm using on the other sheet. Okay, so after the fourth one after the railroad, one, two, three, four, and then the junction space here. Okay, so next, let's see here. First one here. And then the second one before this. That's also a travel voucher. Then after the let's see, one, two, three, four, five. After that is a one, two, three, three, four, five. Okay, and then like the last one on here is another lucky draw. Let's see here. The junction space is also a lucky. I didn't notice that. There are actually quite a lot of lucky draw spots in a close proximity to each other. And it's kind of amusing, actually. It's like the lucky corner of the board. Ooh. Like realistically, for balance reasons, like swapping this with that would actually probably be a good thing, but that's not the way it did it, so whatever. Again, I don't want the board to be too regular. Anyway, it's one side three. That's a travel voucher. Yeah, okay, yeah, that one. Lucky draw. So the last junction space here should be a pink one. Like the first one here is also pink. These be red though. For the railroad. And like the last one on this side gets to be red. Okay then. Yeah, it's like this area here. It's not actually like solid properties. It's just that there's other kinds of special spaces in here that aren't places where you draw cards. As for the white thing, that's just so that I have a place where I can uh workshop things. You know, it's like something here, cut it, trim it a little bit, edit it, then paste it on the stuff. Anyways, moving on. I have placed all of the card draw spaces, I think. Should be every single one of all 5 decks. Okay. What have I not placed yet? Mm, 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 mm. Okay, I need to place utilities. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A template am I going to use for utilities? See, this is actually an interesting thing with regular Monopoly is that in the original stock game of Monopoly, utilities actually had a shared feature with um, railroads in that they were a property that you would buy for a certain price, and then after you bought them for that price, well, you just own them. But because they're not part of a color group, they didn't have the group bar thingy on them, and it was just like a blank white box on the board. Hey, actually, I can show you that. I have, as part of my PowerPoint, a copy of one of the old editions of Monopoly. See, railroads. It has a giant railroad symbol in it, which is what makes it, different from a regular property. And like the same with the utilities. But it's these symbols that make them distinct and eye catching as a different thing on the board than the regular properties, which the properties have the colored bars to indicate which color groups they're part of. And you know what? Having colored bars is actually a significant thing on this, but I'm not actually going to care too much about which. See, colored bars are there to remind you where one property group ends and the next one begins. So when I'm doing this, I'm probably going to reuse colors because I have Yeah, 8 times 4. 32 different color groups of properties. Wait, no, I mathed that wrong. No, no, it's 32 plus 8, so a total of 40. Anyways, be back in a minute. Alrighty. Well, anyway, so yeah, I decided to put like a little railroad bar thing on those spaces instead of putting a giant train logo on them. Maybe the train logo would have been a better idea. Whatever, I already did it the other way. First, that's another thing is that I probably will put some sort of a logo for the draw spaces, but I'm also going to have it like have like a colored background on the space too. Anyways, because like one of the mechanics I wanted to do with this is have it so certain spaces you would just get one of the die roll modifier tokens for landing on the space. And that would be all of the spaces that don't have either a colored bar or a colored background, i.e., the white spaces. Anyway, though, and that would also exclude the warp zone things. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do for warp zones, but warp zones, I decided to have them in a sort of like a braided ring structure where each of them, when you're moving off of it, gives you options, but only a small number of options. Which is why I call it a braided ring. It's because, like, if you're here, okay, maybe you get to move to here or here. But those are your only options. And if you're here, boom or boom. Like this one would go to either here or here. This one would go to, one of these two. This one would go to one of these two. It's going to end up being slightly asymmetrical because I'm not going to be able to just give all of them an equal number of things because that'd be annoying. I'll try to plot it to get it to work. I'm not sure exactly how well it's going to come out. I'm going to have to get to that soon, though. Okay, so which special things have I not placed already? Utilities. Right. Hmm. Yeah. When I was mapping this out earlier, I used this light purple color to mark where the utilities were going to be. You know what? I like that idea. Yeah, use the light purple. Let's see here. Okay, so the last space on side 3 of ring 1. This one. The name, of course, for this one is Trash Collector. But I'll get to actually filling in names later. Just placing them at the moment. Okay, so let's see here. The second, or I guess third junction space on side 1 of ring 2. Side 2 of ring 2 doesn't have a utility. Okay. To be honest, you actually kind of have less utilities than sides on boards. Yeah, because there's like one for every 20 spaces. And, that means you're not going to have that many. Okay, subring 4 has a utility on the second. Yeah, it should be that one. Okay, ring 3. One, two, three, four, fifth space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Third from end on side two of ring three. 1, 2, 3. The last one on ring three is a utility. Huh. Maybe that is something I should have avoided is having the final space in on a side, like the first or the last one on a side be a non-color group property. I didn't do that. I don't feel like replotting things, and quite frankly, I don't actually consider it to be something I have a good reason to do anyways. So whatever. Okay, so that was ring three. None of the spokes has a utility in it because one of the principles I had for doing the spokes was that nothing in the spokes is ownable. It's all stuff you land on that does something when you land on it and then you leave. Okay. Mm. Okay, so the second space on side one of ring four is utility. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seventh space on side two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, side two has two different utilities. Or sorry, side three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's two after here. And three after the railroad. Okay, so the next one is three after the railroad. Okay. All right, so now to start filling in the other names and stuff for this other kinds of special spaces. Actually, I'm going to start by putting in things that say railroad on them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just putting this so that it looks like it says that. Actually, no on. Mm, crap. You know what? I'll leave that one as is. Now we go to the white box area. Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't actually copy paste it yet. Crap. That looks good. Now we draw a box around this and Schlarp. Then we go down here. Let's go clockwise from the starting point. Yeah, see, it's like doing it like this, I can fill in names later. For the prototype, I may actually just not bother filling in names so that I can start doing a little bit of playtesting. So I might decide that I need to make changes when I start playtesting. Alrighty then. So many railroads, so little time. Yeah, not really. It's not that many railroads, I guess, but still. Okay, so text labels on railroads, which is much the same way that the cab companies, except that for the cab companies, I'm going to need to move the cab company text on all of them in order to make the names for cab companies fit. Whatever. I'll worry about that if I ever actually bother putting names on the cab companies. Oh, right. Of course. I need to put names. Okay, utilities are going to have unique names related to what they are, and probably symbols. Because, well, I mean, that's tradition. Like that is seriously traditional. It's just is to have a thing for the cab companies or utilities to have a symbol on them. And again, the thing with like the draw community chest things, hmm. Anyway, moving on. I need to do some text for warp zone. But when I do the text, I need it to be on a orange background. Boom. That will work for now. Highlight as tiny a box as possible, and then start pasting it everywhere. Now, you may have noted that I don't have the numbers on them yet, and I need to those are fine. You know what? I'll leave those as is, but when I'm doing the ones in the future, I will position it a little left. You know what? I'm making that text box, the highlight box, even smaller. And yeah, I'm a person who has thought that multi level game boards were fun ever since I was a small child, and have been in my life highly disappointed by the fact that so many board games do not have multi level boards. I actually drew something vaguely like this when I was a child, was like rings and paths between rings, just like, but I didn't have the, shall we say, depth of experience to add a purpose to them properly. Okay, so for the travel cards, I want to have that black card logo kind of thing from the travel card on the uh travel card deck. Oh wait, no, it doesn't actually have a logo. It just has like a double arrow thing. Ew. Okay. 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 Double arrow is something I can do rather easily, actually. Alrighty then. Let's run this one, I guess. Let's see here. First off, text. Travel card. Manually center it. Cool. Now I need to do a little adjustment here. That's fine. Now we go here to the arrow tools. Uh, that does not look right. All right, so let's see here. Fill in this with red. Actually, no, it wasn't red. I need to fill that in with those black. Oops. Anyways, so now we copy paste this, and then we move the original one here a little bit. Fill in the red. Dunk. Rotate 180. And this is reasonably close to the travel card logo that they use on Super Monopoly. I say reasonably close because it didn't actually have travel card on it, but it did have two black arrows pointing different directions. You know what? If I was to copy the stylization that it was using for the Monopoly Super ones, boy, fine. Oh boy. To be honest, though, making this stylization as small as possible does have merit though, because like I don't want this to actually be huge when I paste it later, because some of the places I'm going to be pasting it are less large. Now this is slightly different than the original, because the original, well, like I said, it wasn't labeled travel card, but this is a what I consider to be a reasonable approximation, shall we say. Now we copy and zoom back out to 100, because wow, that was a lot of zooming in. Now, this is something that is small enough that I should be able to just copy paste it onto all of the other red spaces. All right, let's go. Do 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 do. Anyways, so many travel card spaces. I think I had like 16 of those or something. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. Part of the reason why I write so much stuff down related to this. It's like actually trying to remember it off the top of my head. Haha, no. Okay, so I haven't put in the numbers for the warp zones yet, or the stuff for explaining how they're connected to each other, because quite frankly, I haven't decided yet. I did assign them numbers internally, but the numbers alone are not adequate, because it needs they need to explain how they connect. Okay, well, those are travel cards done. Good, good, good. Now we need to do the same thing for the lucky draw. Oh, right. These are all going to be on the outer side, so I don't have to make the logo small enough to go into the inner ones. Even so, with some of them, it's going to be sideways. So, draw something that's kind of sort of small and looks kind of like a card. Doable, very doable, very very doable. First off, fill. No fill. Line size 1. Okay. No, won't. This is the part where I decide to do stupid things. Oh, yes. Hmm. No, completely incomprehensible, which is fine. All right, let's see if that actually works properly. All right, lucky draw spaces are good. Yeah, calling something named Lucky Draw, or calling something with Lucky Draw pink is fun, but hey, whatever. Okay, so with chance, I'm going to need a large question mark. Hmm. I can. I'm sure I can make that work easily enough. Also, with chance, it's actually only a single word. So, huh. Wait, why are those pixels out of place? What happened? You know what? I don't actually care. Okay, this is currently at 11 point font. Let's switch it to 22 point font. Yeah, that looks good. Hmm. You know what? Yeah. No. I will reposition this slightly. Okay, there. That'll do. Dark orange. Fill in the white hole. Now we draw a box around this. Control C. That was X. Whatever. Now back to 100% scale. Actually, I just realized something. Due to the way I have this set up, the values on the community chest card should be the same as the ones in Basic Monopoly, and then have the numbers go up for chance and uh, lucky draw. Okay, so now to refresh my memory about what the community chest symbol actually looks like. Oh, there's an easy way to do that. Right, it's an open box. Traditionally, the symbol was drawn in blue. I'm going to make something. Damn. Yeah, it's like the simplicity of what I'm going to be drawing for the symbol is a um order of magnitude less than what they have for the actual one. Anyways, so let's start here. Community chest. Switch this back to an 11-point font. Okay, that's clearly not wide enough. How the am I going to put a logo on this when it barely even fits in the thing? Jeez, that's not going to work. Yeah, I need to make this font smaller. You know what? I think that's the best I can do there. Black text, please. There, that I think will do. I'm gonna draw a chest logo. Actually, no, won't. Damn it! I can't grab that properly. It's too small. That looks about right. Cool, 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 cool. Oh, I'm zooming in farther. Oh, I'm not zoomed in hard enough. Oh yes, so much zoom in. Alrighty then. Okay, that looks pretty good. Like that. Like it. Good, 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 good. Nip, nip, nip. Wrong tool. Someday they may upgrade MS Paint so that it can read your mind. That day is not today. Actually, no. Yeah, I positioned that wrong. That looks right. Except for the missing pixel, but I can fix the missing pixel. How many pixels tall is this? That is 11 pixels tall. Okay. Oh, that does fit perfectly. Okay, then. Wrong tool. How did that not change? Okay, go, go, go. Now, the traditional community chest thing actually has something inside the box. I don't feel like going that far. Drawing a freehand drawing a thing that actually looks like a proper treasure chest was hard enough. I don't feel like messing with it any further. uh I honestly just want something that looks box shaped approximately. I don't really care if it's exactly perfect. Oh, I can't box grab that. Whatever. Select freeform. Freeform selection is incredibly useful. Alrighty then, now back out to 100% zoom. And the horrible realization that the original one is not actually properly centered. Ah, no. Alrighty then. How long have I been at this? Almost 2 hours. Granted, that included a few short breaks, but still, ugh, that's a lot. Anyway, so the green ones. Need to put something for the light green ones. I don't actually have a finished idea as to what to call them yet. Investment broker is slightly longer than community chest, and community chest, quite frankly, is longer than I like. Hmm. You know what this means? Time to use online tools to make a decision. In this case, the tool in question is Wiktionary. Ascension related terms, further reading. Why on earth did it automatically give me the German version? Inflations, derived terms. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, sure. Yeah. You know what? I could just call it finance broker. Yeah. Yeah, finance broker would work. It's like just like generic finance things. So, yeah, it's broker. It's like because like the idea that I'm going with finance brokers is that their cards you get from finance brokers are not uniformly good things. They're not. They're more often than not good, but they're not necessarily good. Because like stock in this is going to be kind of like a limited commodity where it's like, yes, under certain circumstances it will give you money, but you can't just buy it because you feel like it. And drawing these cards is going to be one of the ways to get stock, but also has the risk of losing stock. You know, man, that's going to be fun in the most sarcastic sense imaginable. What do I even want to put in here? Hmm. Oh, a stylized calculator. I need to make it incredibly small, though. Oh boy. Alrighty then, let's go. I'm not even done zooming in yet. There. Why? Neek. And do not has want. Anyways, I don't care. So I will set that as a background. Sure. Mm, good enough for now. Ow! Crap. Screwed up. Be a rounded box. Oh yeah, I'm making this way too large. Crap. I really don't like the way it chose two round corners here. So I'm going to manually fix it. All right. Now we switch to blue. Now we switch to this. Fill solid color. Dum 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 dum. What color to put buttons on? That's good. Make the buttons purple. Fine, whatever. Yeah, 16 by 16 grid of dots. You know what? I can make it 5 white. That'll work. Like if you're doing this on a for like actual like legit accounting purposes, you're probably going to get one of the fancy calculators that has a whole bunch of extra buttons. Oh, you know what? Yeah. There. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, because a lot of keyboard or things like that will have like one or two things that are just like slightly differently sized than the rest of them. Doesn't look exactly perfectly even. So you have like this one here that's extra large will be the 0. Then you have 1 through 9 here. Then you have plus, then you have um something. Anyway though. Yeah. Cool. This actually doesn't have as many buttons as I thought I would end up with because I made some of them double sized. Yeah, 20. And I have 11 of those 20 dots tied up with numbers. And then I have cut down two more. So this goes from 9 to 7. Four of which are going to be basic mathematical operators. You'd probably also have for financial stuff, you'd have a decimal point. So that's 5. Like 6 and 7. What would 6 and 7 be? I don't know. So you have like an enter button. Yeah, because like that's actually what the bottom right one is like an enter button, like a plus, and probably be like a percent button in there somewhere too. So I guess that would be the entire keyword layout. Oh boy. That's not a whole lot of pixels, but it is a calculator. Now we're going to copy the whole freaking thing and see if it actually fits. Okay. That did actually come out about right. Okay. Just barely small enough to actually fit. Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't actually have any of the finance brokers on any of the main rings. I have them on the spokes and on sub rings. Control Z, Control V. This is the reason why I have to be very, very careful when grabbing objects for this purpose. Okay. Finance brokers are in now. Hmm. You know, one thing I could do with the warp zones is like have like a have options for what play you could have like optional rules for how the warp zones work, like roll 1d10 to decide which warp zone you go to because there's 10 of them exactly, or just use the whole like connected ring thing. All right. Ugh. Yeah, that's been quite a long time. Hmm. Need to go and do other stuff for now. Uh, I got a significant amount of work done today. Actually, you know what? There is one thing to do before I go. Yeah, I just realized there is one thing that I haven't been doing, and I need to get done sometime. I just haven't bothered to do yet. Maybe I throw labels on these things. Yeah, like I haven't bothered to label most of the corner spaces yet, and that's probably a bad thing because you kind of need to have those labeled. Okay. Let's not exchange. Okay, that clearly is not justified properly. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that'll go. All right. So, what is the second one for ring two? Super squeeze play. Alrighty then. Next, we have another stock exchange space. Then is this is the auction space. Okay. That is a thing for ring 3. Now to move back to ring 2. Second one is all right. Moving backwards space. Warp zone. Did that one already. Go to jail. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm probably going to end up putting multiple go to jail cards in the lucky draw thing. Like, I'll probably phrase one of them something like "get busted for embezzlement," which the specific wording here is chosen to make it ambiguous as to whether or not you're actually guilty of embezzlement or if someone, like framed you or something. Hmm. But, it's an excuse for you to get thrown in jail. Yeah, I actually put a stock exchange here. I didn't remember why. It was just part of me wanting to have several of them. Okay. Now we have the regular squeeze play, and then we have the one for say draw half of cash pool. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be enough for now. Been at this something like 2.5 hours now. Oh no, no, it's a little over 2 hours. So actually, probably I only spent 2 hours working on this and a few minutes on breaks. Okay. Hmm. Alrighty then. Hmm. Can you read people in Kick? I don't know that you can. Guess not. Alrighty then. Well, I guess I'll see